Hello, 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 everyone. Uh, what do I watch today? Another reaction, reactions today. You guys are enjoying yourself. Let me know how we're doing. All right. AK Mag bottle. Coca-Cola bottle. That. Need to watch more. I caught up on Bleach. Caught with Bleach. I haven't caught up with Daima in a while, and I need to catch up with Don to Don. Right? How much this?
One of Malaysia's economic problems as of late is the country's national debt. Here's a graph with data that we collected from the International Monetary Fund on the general government gross debt as a percentage of GDP of Malaysia.
Oh, last time we did some videos on Japan. Now we're doing on Malaysia. It'll be interesting. I mean, so far Behind Asia has made some really interesting videos. Me about this, and you know what? It interests me. I mean, I care about
This is an indicator
it.
that
You know, should
measures the total outstanding debt of the central, state, and local governments relative to the country's gross domestic product. As you can see from the graph, Malaysia's general government gross debt has been rising since the start of the 21st century. Back in 2000, the percentage to GDP was just 32.5%. Yet
COVID
by
didn't hit it that
2023, it has risen to over 69.8%.
nice.
This rise in government debt has then led many to believe that Malaysia's economy is in trouble. Government debt, after all, is often cited in many articles and scientific journals about its harms in one's economy.
Yep.
On top of the government debt issue, many articles have been talking about the tremendous rise in Malaysia's household debt. Some articles said that Malaysia's household debt has risen to over 1.53 trillion Malaysian ringgit in 2023, which, as a percentage of GDP, was over 84.
That's a lot of household. What's causing all that household debt? Will they explain that? Now that's what I want to.
4.2%. This raises the question, how is Malaysia going to fix this? Does current Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim even have a plan to reduce the debt that Malaysia has? Well, fortunately, yes. Prime Minister Anwar does have a plan, along with his administration, to fix these problems in Malaysia. Let's first start with the
But will you have enough time? And if it does anything, I guess, to harm average citizens, I'm guessing they're gonna become very jihadist and like and mad crazy, killing government officials, non-Muslim tourists. I'm guessing.
government debt of Malaysia, as it is the most important one that Anwar needs to fix. Malaysia's general government gross debt to GDP, as we mentioned earlier, now stands at over 69.8%,
Nice.
which comparatively is actually one of the highest in Southeast Asia.
Let's see. So this one is Malaysia. Thailand was pretty low and had boosted up since 2021, getting close. Malaysia. Next one, Indonesia. Used to be really, really. And yeah, I just went Thailand and the Philippines, super high and going down and crept up. It's like third place. So Malaysia, Thailand, Indonesia, fuck, Malaysia, Thailand, the Philippines, and Malaysia. Fucking Indonesia. God damn it, keep on getting them backwards. Indonesia's at the bottom, while Malaysia's on top. You know, right fucking next to each other. Always, fucking with each other all the time. Philippines is like, man, we're trying to do shit here. And Thailand's like, we have mudang and we have gay marriage. Woo!
Asia. It is higher than Thailand's debt, Indonesia's debt, Vietnam's debt, the Philippines' debt.
I don't say Vietnam on here. Where is Vietnam? Is Vietnam invisible? Is it the invisible black one?
And only below that of Singapore and Laos.
Oh, here, Laos. Okay, Laos would be bad. You know, we talked about Laos. People talk about Singapore, but Singapore is fucking tiny as shit.
However, comparing Singapore's debt might not truly tell the entire story, as the island nation is often known as a unique case where government debt is largely offset by substantial national savings and assets. Therefore, one can easily see just how big Malaysia's debt is. So, how did we get here?
How did we get here?
There are two factors here. The first is because of the recent COVID-19 pandemic, and the second is due to fiscal deficits, both of which are intertwined. Let's first talk about the COVID-19 pandemic that has led many governments globally, including Malaysia, to borrow heavy amounts of money to stimulate its economy. Here's a
Yeah, that makes sense.
table of Malaysia's federal government.
Ah, fuck.
Saving on your education should be a right, not a competition.
Position from 2015.
2015. Operating expenditures and current balance. But plus 90. Government balance. It's been
to 2025. As you can see from the table right here, there are two important factors here to understand: revenues and expenditures. This is basically how a government collects money from taxes and spends money for things like infrastructure programs, the military, the police, and so on. As you can see from the table, the government has been spending more money than they are collecting from taxes or revenues. From 2015 to 2019, the overall balance to GDP was just around -3%. But as the COVID-19 pandemic hit, the overall balance had increased the deficit to over -6.2% in 2020, and further deficit spending in the coming years. This is what led to Malaysia's debt to rise, as the government was borrowing heavily to stimulate their economies, whilst their GDP wasn't rising as fast as the rate of borrowing. This is what Anwar has been trying to fix, by lowering the expenditures and increasing the revenues. Hence, as you can see from the table right here, the overall balance has been dropping since Anwar came into office in late 2022. In 2023, the overall balance was reduced to a -5%, then further to -4.4%.
how is he reducing expenditures? Cutting back on infrastructure? Is he cutting back on schools, airports, tourism, all sides of the government, military, police?
And then, as expected, in the budget 2025 to just 3.8%. This reduction in the overall balance, especially in the expected budget of 2025, is a reflection of Anwar's good fiscal management. But a lot of people aren't happy with what he has done to achieve this. Why? Well, among the many
Higher
factors
taxes.
out there that led to this reduction, What we found to be amongst the most important ones are the increase in revenues and the reduction in expenditures. What this means can be understood through taxes. Prime Minister Anwar, since coming into office, has introduced various taxes to the Malaysian people. He has introduced taxes.
Has he done any taxes on on the rich versions, or are these all aggressive tax? Food tax, a fat tax, sugar tax, a tire tax, a consumption tax, any of that type of bullshit. And
In luxury goods tax, dividend income tax, capital gains tax, sugar sweetened beverages tax, sales and services tax, SST, expansion, and so on. Most of these taxes, however, as you can clearly see, are either directed towards the wealthy or as a form of sin tax. The luxury goods, dividend income, and capital gain tax are targeting wealthier.
yeah, I'm glad he is targeting the wealthy. I'm guessing the wealthy are not very happy about capital gain.
People, as most of these taxes are designed to ensure that the wealthiest segments of society contribute a fair share to Malaysia's revenue. To top off the increased taxes on the wealthy, these would also help reduce the inequality of Malaysia, as Anwar has been implementing targeted subsidies to the poor. If you actually listened closely, you can see where this is going. Anwar is basically trying to tax the rich to help increase the government revenues, money that will be used to reduce the fiscal deficit and help alleviate.
Yep, that's what we need here in America. Tax the rich, a whole lot. In my opinion, if you're going to add, if I was going to put a tax on, let me say 25%, 30%. If you make $4 million or more, it's about 4%. Pay for a lot. Pay for a lot of infrastructure projects, especially like light rail projects here and more, get more track and all.
Alleviate debt burdens. Now, it is also important to know that while taxes are on the rise for some Malaysians, this is in fact still low compared to many other economies out there. Here's a graph on the tax revenue as a.
All right, let's look at Malaysia. Quite low. Huge dip in 20. And next time about Philippines, this one's going up. It was the highest, and then it's not gone down. Then we got that Singapore was always pretty high. It goes down. It's going right back up. Thailand was always pretty high. They down and it's back up. The Philippines, it's Thailand. That's the Philippines, Singapore, and Malaysia. I don't know why they're bitching. Happy, signs high in Thailand, Philippines, or Singapore.
As a percentage of GDP, with data that we collected from the World Bank and the Ministry of Finance.
And hopefully he's increasing, fucking minimum wage.
Of Malaysia.
20%.
As you can see, the tax to GDP of Malaysia for the latest year sits at only 12.6%. Just compare that to the Philippines, Thailand, and Singapore, 3 countries with higher tax revenues to GDP than Malaysia. What this essentially means is that Malaysia's government collects a relatively smaller portion of its economic output in taxes compared to its regional neighbours. Put simply, Malaysia just doesn't tax that much, and by raising the taxes by a few percentage points may not even be enough for Malaysia to be on par with other major economies out there. Secondly, what Anwar has done to fix the fiscal deficit problem is by reducing subsidies. Here's a graph on the subsidies, incentives, and assistance in Malaysia by billions of ringgit. As you can see, the subsidies have been falling. This is one of the ways Malaysia has been cutting their expenditures as subsidies have gotten too much. And this is also where Anwar has been getting unfavourable public attention. Some people are saying that he has not only been increasing taxes, but he has also been cutting subsidies. What you should know, however, is that he is doing this both because he has to reduce the fiscal deficit, as well as to stop giving subsidies to everyone, but rather only target the ones who really need it the most. This is again one of the ways Anwar is trying to reduce all these inequality that Malaysia is experiencing. He is trying to raise the taxes on the wealthy and cut subsidies to them, and then focus on the vulnerable people.
I mean, this is what they do, like in Europe. The tax to give out pretty generous subsidies for, and also like refugees, people seeking amnesty. Yeah, I know some people get real mad at that, but I think it's small percentage. In the end, I think Europe is going to end up, like many other countries, turn around and follow them. Not many of those that's going to be staying, but North Africa or the Middle East, or
Finally,
also going to be
it is also
probably sent back to
important to
Turkey.
know that while Malaysia's debt has been high, as of late, it's mostly actually borrowed domestically. Here's a table with data that we collected from the Ministry of Finance of Malaysia. As you can see, the debt to GDP of Malaysia is mostly held domestically, as the latest data available for the first quarter of 2024 shows that over 97.5% of all the federal government debt of Malaysia is domestic, with only 2.5% of the total held in overseas borrowings.
That's
To
right.
top it off, Malaysia's debt to GDP in this federal government data has actually been going down. As you can see here in the graph, the debt to GDP in 2021 was 63.3%, whereas, in the latest data available, it is just 62.6%. Although it's a small decline, it is important to know that the GDP of Malaysia has steadily risen, as seen in the graph, from 1.5 trillion ringgit in 2021 to over 1.9 trillion ringgit by the first.
You good? Well, 3 years, he's actually gone up. While most countries are struggling, besides America and a few of the 7 nations, Malaysia's actually doing well. I would love to compare like Indonesia or Singapore, Vietnam, the Philippines.
Quarter of 2024. Some of you may already know why domestic debt isn't bad, but for those of you who don't know, it's simply because domestic debt is generally less risky than foreign debt. When a country borrows domestically, it owes money to its own citizens or institutions, which keeps the debt within the local economy. The government can manage this debt more flexibly since repayments are made in the local currency that it can print in its own central bank. This ability to issue its own currency gives the government more control over its financial obligations compared to foreign debt, which must be repaid in foreign currencies like the US dollar or euro. Now, let's talk about the household debt of Malaysia and how Anwar is trying to fix it. Here's a table of the composition of Malaysia's household debt for 2023. As you can see, 60.5% of it is from housing loans, followed by vehicle loans at 13.2%, and then personal financing at 12.6%, with the remaining spread out on things like credit card and security. So, how is he trying to fix the household debt? Well, unlike government debt, household debt is much more trickier to fix. Some of the things he has done so far are the likes of increasing financial literacy to help Malaysians make better financial decisions,
Nice, nice.
which may not really be the answer to reducing the overall household debt.
Still a good thing.
But what also stands true is that Malaysia's interest rates may soon fall. Currently, it's still at 3%, as you can see in the graph right here. What led to this rise is due to the recent inflation that Malaysia and the world saw. But as inflation has now gone down, it is likely that the interest rate would also drop. What this means for the household debt of Malaysia is that lower interest rates could alleviate some of the financial pressure on households. When interest rates fall, the cost of borrowing decreases, making it easier for individuals to service their loans. This could provide much-needed relief for Malaysian households, particularly those with high levels of debt tied to housing loans, personal loans, and credit card debt. But anyway, do let us know what you think. Thanks for watching.
Ads. That was actually really cool. Once again, Behind Asia, they're doing a really good job. learning a lot of stuff about, Asia's debt problem. You feel like this one? All right. All right. Let's see what else can. See, China is taking. All right, let's check.
China's yuan is tanking again despite the massive stimulus announced a couple months ago. And of course, at the same time, more record lows for Chinese government bond yields. There is not a whole lot of faith in Beijing's ability to pull China out of its growing mess. And we got more data to shows exactly that. There wasn't a whole lot of faith to begin with, outside of stocks anyway. But now that Xi Jinping has pulled out his bazooka and has almost nothing to show for it, it only gets even more difficult from here. And China's hardly alone, of course. Currencies are dropping all over the place. India's rupee, another record low. Brazil's real, they hit a record low too. Korea's won, closer to a multi-year low. The only one going up is Japan's yen, and that's not a good sign. In fact, JPY rising is evidence that some of the world's biggest financial firms, they're not waiting around to see what happens with China or the US for that matter. The latest economic data from the country shows very little for what was sold as the biggest bazooka ever. PMIs were weak for the month of November, particularly for services.
All right. So a lot of stuff, a lot of bad stuff happening. The uh, yeah, Japanese yen went up a little bit.
Which is the primary concern in that real economy. Even the housing market only produced a single monthly bounce. before dropping right back into deep contraction in November. So, sure, the Chinese government plans on borrowing trillions of yuan. While that may impress economists and reporters, markets have never really bought into it. And now the macro data for November shows that skepticism was more than warranted. Even the Politburo is hiding, knowing that whatever faith there is in the bazooka is fading fast, and that market participants are desperate for any sign that Chinese officials get it and are finally going to release some details. The top Chinese government body skipped its November meeting anyway. They don't know what to do, not really. It really seems as though they were going to throw out some of these huge numbers, talk about trillions in government borrowing, and just hope the market would do all the work for them. Well, the market isn't doing the work. Instead, the market says, give me something real, or I'm going to continue to go safety and liquidity. Government bonds, low growth and inflation expectation. China's yuan tanking in addition to all the other currencies that I mentioned, except for the yen. More global fundamental signals that the world, and China in particular, heading in the wrong direction. But of course, the recent
I can't lie, this guy's teeth are. I don't want to get so racist.
economic data was characterized as mixed. They're selling bad numbers as mixed, as tentative signs of recovery, as if we haven't seen all this before. And I'll give you an example right from the start. Bloomberg, the headline was, China's factory activity expands in sign of slow recovery. But then you scroll down the page a little bit to the chart that shows the PMI data, which I'll get to a little bit further in the video. And the headline for the chart says, China's factory activity shows little recovery, which is actually closer to the truth. So it's not tentative signs of recovery. It's little recovery because it's just nothing more than a fluctuation. We do expect that China's economy will have a short-run impact, that the stimulus will create some limited rebound in certain parts of the economy and certain kinds of activity. But overall, we've seen this.
Looks like not much economic recovery. Factory. China hasn't really recovered from COVID. So it seems like a lot of numbers were made up. And how many years? Real estate bubble, but started collapse. A lot of in China that not not moving up. There's lots of ghost cities, ghost hotels, that type of shit.
This time and again before, including in the PMIs. What we haven't seen is the lack of reaction to the services PMI. Again, I'll get to that in just a moment. Instead, first, the yuan. As of today, this morning, despite the announcement this weekend of quote-unquote mixed economic signals and mixed economic data, it really wasn't. And you can tell it wasn't mixed because of the way that the currency is behaving. As of this morning, 727.2 for the yuan to the dollar. That's the lowest since July 23rd of this year when it was 727.48. And it's down sharply just today, which tells you everything you need to know about what the PMIs really had to say. At 727.20, that's closing in on the low from last year, November 13th of 2023, which is not all that far from a more than decade low going back to 2008, early 2008, the 730 range. So CNY falling precipitously, heading down toward that level.
Here's 2020, here's COVID. Post-COVID is 22. By this time, when Ukraine hit, all the countries, you have like the Philippines or Vietnam or wherever, trying to rebuff against China. That's try to reopen stuff, supply chain issues. They start opening up, but they have all that zero COVID policy. Not really helping them. Look at this, be much higher. Crash really badly. A little bit crashes again. Tries to get up, but this is bad. Putting this much stimulus, you'll think 2020, January 2020, December 2023, going to January 2020. Boosted up much, and they had a good October, and then I don't know how they fucked up November and December. You guys do.
Well, at the same time, the Chinese government is now back to trying to do something about it. The Chinese government is trying to use the midpoint once again to strengthen the yuan, or at least to try to get the market to strengthen the yuan by fixing stronger than where the actual market exchange value is. And this goes back to the middle of November. November 12th, the CFETS reports that the PBOC fixed the midpoint at 719.27. And then they held it there just above 720 to the dollar, which seemed to be another red line for the Chinese, at least a short run red line, until November 28th, when suddenly they started to fix stronger again as the currency got weaker and weaker and weaker in the marketplace. But as I said in the introduction, it's not just China's yuan. China's yuan is sending some pretty powerful signals, but there are others. I talked about India in a video on Saturday. India's rupee hits another record low today at 84.74 for the same reasons, global fundamentals. It's not just China or just India, it's the combination of all of those, plus all of the macroeconomic weakness that's going around the rest of the world. Brazil's real, 607, that's a record low, at least as a closing price. Falling sharply has nothing to do with interest rates. The Brazilian central bank is going to be raising interest rates as the Fed's cutting them, which should be strengthening the real. Instead, it's going the opposite direction, in part because of Brazil being upstream of China, taking some of the heavier impacts from the Chinese economy weakening, continuously weakening. So Brazil is feeling the impact of what's happening in China, and China being upstream of everything else around the rest of the world too. Korea's won, South Korean won at 1406 is right at the same level of multi-year low for largely the same reasons. Macroeconomic fundamentals.
And next year happens, go for the tariffs. Yeah, that's really gonna hurt a lot of countries. America, Canada, Mexico. If he's gonna go after Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, it'd be very good for any of us.
From the perspective of Asia. The only
We're
one
gonna have a
that's
lot of
not gonna
recessions
bend,
and depression.
pun intended, is Japan's yen. I've talked about that before. It's another sign, especially in the context of all these other currencies, that carry trade unwinding is accelerating again here toward the end of November and into December. And the reason why would be the same reasons as before. Macroeconomic risks and financial risks all over the place. From the United States, which we still haven't escaped the recession question, even though it's, for most people in the media, it's no longer a question. That's not the case to the carry traders. And when you throw on top of that Beijing's dud of a bazooka, the tremendous amount of macroeconomic risk all throughout the rest of the world, especially with Europe rolling over again too. We see this in bond yields all over the place, starting with China. I talked about this in a live video last week. The 10-year now fell below 2% for the first time ever as of this morning, despite the PMIs that were supposedly mixed and supposedly showing tentative signs of stability. No, the government bond market not buying it there either. The 5-year hit a new record lows, down sharply, 1.612%. Even the 2 years, only a basis point above its record low, which was set at the end of April in 2020. Bond market, like the currency market, not buying anything about mixed signals or tentative signs or anything about stimulus, except for the fact that it is missing. But of course, to the mainstream media, what's going on in the government bond market as well as the currency, that's all about central banks. According to Bloomberg, China's 10-year yield dropped past the key psychological milestone of 2% and was at a record low as traders ramped up wagers that authorities would ease monetary policy further to bolster the weak economy. It's not about rate cuts. Investors' enthusiasm about Chinese bonds comes as the latest slew of data from improved factory activity to an entrenched housing slump continues to show an unbalanced recovery in the world's number 2 economy. No, China's government bond market has been rallying since last year. In fact, it's been almost exactly a year, around early December of 2023. Bond yields have been down almost steadily over the last 52 weeks. And it isn't because the government bond market or bondholders are betting on the PBOC to lower rates. In fact, the PBOC didn't want to lower rates up until September, and the bond market and bond yields were going down anyway. It's growth in inflation expectations. It is flight to safety, which is consistent with lower growth and lower inflation expectations. The bond market is not about the PBOC, and it is certainly not about Beijing and its bazooka, because nobody in the bond market is buying that it's going to work. If there was any thought, any serious thought, that the stimulus would stimulate on anything more than a very short run limited basis, then bond yields would have risen more than they did, a few basis points that they were up in September heading into October before rolling over through October into November to
All of this is bad. It hasn't been very good, but 2024 has been really, really rough. I don't know what they can do. Especially with the bad housing market. Bad housing market, I think, is dragging everything down. Even if they put stimulus, if factories do better, the housing market's hurting, which hurts, average, middle class, Chinese people. That's why you have so many abandoned houses, incomplete houses, hotels, ghost factories, ghost cities, all that type of shit. Ones I saw so many videos on whether on TikTok or on YouTube. I don't think they're. I don't think many of them are still around and not. Guessing China doesn't want that around. Makes them look bad.
now record lows again here in December. Just like the currency falling pretty sharply, the market is not buying China's turnaround story, despite what the media characterizes as tentative signs of stability. And you can keep going to other parts of the marketplace. The copper to gold ratio, as of this morning, gold at 26.41, copper at just 4.08. Again, copper not really buying the stimulus either. The copper to gold ratio is barely more today than it was at its multi-year low on November 22nd, when I talked about how that was a comparison to the lows of 2009 and what that comparison actually meant. Even oil prices in the United States, WTI 67.77 today, lower geopolitical premium, but no demand. Oil has a massive China problem. And if stimulus was going to fix China's economy, it would no longer have a China problem, which means
China mostly buying a lot of oil from Russia. On that not helping them. I know it's definitely not helping Russia.
means oil prices would be roaring ahead, and they're doing the opposite. Brent crude just 71.637 this morning. So showing signs of gaining
Random ass Arab
traction
dude.
or an imbalanced recovery,
Saudi,
whatever they
Qatar,
tentative signs of stability, not according to the entire marketplace, especially the key ones, the currency and the bond market. Just a reminder, got a webinar coming up on December 11th. Jim Rickards and I are going to be talking about the future of money and monetary systems. Maybe what it should be, what it could be, how we get from where we are today to where we hope to be down the road. And Jim and I have some different opinions this year that they did last year. To note 50.3 is hardly a robust recovery, which is why there's so much hedging language in all of these mainstream media articles trying to sell you.
All right. China not doing that probably was a war zone. You know, Papa might have some Anything else? Delaware destroys Elon. Italy. 3-pound trigger for you. Heavy duty carrier, everyday carrier.
What's up, guys? Spin Firearms here, and today we're going to be talking about the Bursa BP 9cc. Now, this is made in Argentina with a lot of the other Bursas, right? Bursa's actually come out with some really, really nice handguns over the last couple of years.
Bursa over
They've
some,
been doing an absolutely
that's
great job at getting them out to people and trying to raise awareness to their company. There's a couple other companies out there that I could talk about that make a good product, but they just are not seen. They're not known. They're not on the shelves at your local gun store. They're not on the front pages of your favorite gun stores online, right? So a lot of people actually miss out on them when they shouldn't. But the Bursa BP 9cc, which stands for concealed carry, obviously, is actually a handgun that is carried by some law enforcement over in Argentina as well as other areas over there. And to me, I don't know if it's too dangerous to carry, which we're going to talk about, but it has a lot going for it, but it also has a lot not going for it. So we're going to touch on this over the next couple minutes. The BP9C is 8 plus 1, right? While being the length of basically a Glock 43X, which 11 plus 1 in the setup with his base plate. So right here, you can see that 8 plus 1 on the left versus 11 plus 1 on the right. So 3 rounds different. You can also see that the Bursa is much, much thinner. It's one of the thinnest handguns that I own, chambered 9mm. Then up top, basically virtually the same. Barrel to barrel is basically the same. The Bursa's a tad bit longer and maybe a tad bit wider up top. That almost causes the handgun to feel pretty uneven because of that thick slide with that very thin grip. And I mean, it is thin. It feels really good in the hand, but it also feels like just something is missing. Whereas the 43X fills the hand really well, and that's what's made it such a competitor out there, regardless of its lack of capacity being 10 plus 1. But in terms of lack of capacity, you have it here as well. This is only 8 plus 1. Obviously, we're cleared, safety checked prior to the video. Now, 8 plus 1, why is that? Because it is so dang thin. I will tell you, though, this thing is absolutely a smooth shooting handgun. But there's a couple features that make me a little nervous, right? I'm not sure if the import laws have anything to do with this stuff, but as you can see right here, it comes with a little key that if you put it in there and turn to safe, the firearm is useless. That might be due to an import law, I'm not 100% sure, but this is the most pointless feature I've ever seen in my life. Nobody's going to go grab their key, lock their handgun, and then when they need it, grab the key again, unlock it, and say, okay, I'm ready to fire. That's absolutely ridiculous. If you want a safety on there, throw a manual safety. That's how you would do that. So that's ridiculous. Obviously, you never even touch that. 2, cleared and safety checked, there is a magazine disconnect. So you can't even use a dry fire practice machine without a magazine in there, which is sort of a bummer, and for a couple other reasons, right? Taking it down and stuff like that.
Okay. All right. So talk about this gun. I've never heard of this gun. I've never heard of a Bursa company before. I heard some stuff. I heard Embel, Bill, but not Bursa. Quite a few negative things. Useless safety, dry fire thing, kind of.
But everything
Only
functions
8
really
plus
well.
1.
It has a really nice takedown or slide stop on there. Really nice slide stop. It actually works really well, as you can see that. It's a little worn in. I've owned this gun for a little over 2 years now. Really nice. They also make them stainless steel, which I recommend because this handgun gets beat up fairly easily, right? Everything works well. Magazine release launches that mag. And I'm not going to lie, if you have weak wrists or wrists that are in pain or bad hands, this is a great handgun for you in terms of racking the slide. It is smooth like butter. It is smoother than almost any handgun I own. I really like that. Sights are 3-dot white sights, as you can see right there. And they are metal sights up front, I believe, but I think the back, are those plastic? I think the rear, yep, the rear might be plastic. That's ridiculous. I never noticed that before. Absolute garbage if they are. Loaded chamber indicator up top. And as you can see, this thing has over 1,000 rounds through it and a pretty decent amount of wear on that barrel. Pretty decent amount of wear. You can see all the machining marks, but not a big deal. Doesn't affect anything. The price point, when I first picked this up, it was about $280. And I know there's been rebates and stuff like that. Typically speaking now, they're about $320, but I have seen them lower and under that $300 mark. That thick, heavy slide really helps it with being smooth, as well as that guide rod and spring set on there. It's actually very smooth to shoot this handgun. So that is one of the positives. Another thing is some people struggle with concealed carry in terms of the thickness. I struggle with the length of the grip, having a problem. That's where I have an issue. So something like this, I might be able to get away with, but if I had a thicker handgun and shorter, I have no problem concealing that. But for people who have trouble concealing a, a thick handgun versus a longer handgun, this is for you. And that's why they did it. It's super thin, stays right close up to your body. People can barely notice it's on you. So that's really nice. It does come with a rail. Not sure what light options are available. As you can see, it has little ledges right here. Keep that finger up the trigger, and a thumb on there to fight some recoil. Actually feels pretty good. The grip has barely any texturing. If you see that on the rear and the front, which are the parts that matter the most, there's nothing. Absolutely nothing. And even this right here is terrible texturing. So you're going to end up spending a little bit of money to get it stippled or add some grips to it because it does not feel that good. It is very slippery, very, very smooth. Overall finish, pretty nice on it. It does show wear very easily, but not the worst thing in the world. I've seen much worse. I own much worse. Actually, a pretty decent finish. As you can see, it was imported, so I'm not sure if that has to do with the magazine disconnect and the rear safety.
That's a possibility.
Now, this is where this handgun could potentially be dangerous, right? Like I said, magazine disconnect. So let's say I'm in a struggle and somehow something bumps that magazine. I can't use my handgun. It's basically useless. That is the problem with magazine disconnects. Basically useless. That's why my Ruger, I took it off. So yeah, you have that issue, right? Also though, that trigger, check this out. The lightest trigger I own currently sits in this handgun right here. 3 pounds. Not only is it a short trigger, but it's 3 pounds. I kid you not. 3-pound trigger. Now you're going to absolutely rip with this thing. But once again, under stress, under a struggle, under pushing off, grappling, fighting, it's going to be a disaster. Now check out this reset. Ready? Reset. Right? Check this out again. 3-pound trigger plus a reset like this. Just ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. So, in terms of at the range, this thing rips. It's a beast. It's a great shooting handgun. It's smooth. For how thin and light it is, it handles recoil really well and is fast. But for carry, no trigger safety on here. Nothing. Just a 3-pound trigger through and through. I don't know. I don't know if I could ever carry something like this. Although I know law enforcement overseas.
It probably makes sense for law enforcement because you have to deal with criminals, thugs, rioters, gangsters, and criminals, maybe paramilitary people, terrorists. That makes sense. They have a 3-pound trigger. This will probably work for a cop or maybe a soldier.
Actually do carry this. I've actually seen it, read about it, all that. But overall, it's a really well-made handgun. I've never had a single problem with reliability. It's a blast at the range, and that's why I own it. I never bought this thing to shoot at the range. To carry. I bought it to shoot at the range and have fun with that trigger a little bit. But like I said, it could potentially be a big issue with that light of a trigger, under stress, under adrenaline, and stuff like that. Right here is a Shield Plus, boasting 13+1, and this is going to cost you $50 to $75 more. Not only do you get a better trigger, it's a little bit heavier, but it's just a better defensive trigger, and for only $50 to $75 more. So I would go Shield Plus all day. The Versus VPCC is sort of out of touch with reality, but at the same time, it is fast, it is flat, it is a pretty good shooting handgun. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for watching.
Bye. Other else interesting? AOC running for president. Game the British why Texas did impressive. Maybe I might check that out. I do live in Texas. Look interesting. See anything else? Remix. Hashtag plus 3 plus the other side. Dragon. Okay. Pick this one.
People call me Yeti, abominable, but at my core, I'm a crafter. That's why I start the holidays at my
One. Hey guys, welcome back. We're Normies here to watch some teasers, some first looks, some trailer. We just decided to do all in one video. And yeah, we'll just go from there. What are our names?
Mickey, Spidey,
Nubby.
Pat,
Rana.
And first we're gonna watch Sonic the Hedgehog 3.
I'm so hyped for this.
Dude,
This is gonna be the best one, probably.
The first Sonic was top tier. I love Jim Carrey as
Yeah.
well. Like, dude,
I love Jim
second
Carrey,
movie,
too.
bomb. I loved it.
All right,
Yeah.
I'm gonna check this out over the break.
Yeah.
I haven't seen any of the movies, but I'm down to check it
Oh
out.
man, you're gonna
The
love
success
those
of
too.
this franchise relies on them fixing Sonic when people were like, "What the fuck is
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they took it and like
Yeah.
they did it better. I was like, good.
What is that?"
I love that though because they heard it, they responded, and we got what we wanted.
And it turns out it's actually like they're just like legitimately they're like fun movies. They're
Yeah.
super fun movies.
Amazing to watch. It's such a fun time. Like Sonic, Jim Carrey, all of them together is just so.
Jim
they
Carrey.
did it good. Okay,
Yeah.
they did this movie right.
If Jim Carrey
Bro.
wasn't in it, they wouldn't be as good.
So Jim
He
Carrey
came out of
was like
retirement
Jim
for this.
Carreyism.
Huh?
Jim Carreyism.
Yeah, like okay.
And, I mean, I'm glad they listened to it because now there's 3 of them. So like, if they didn't, they wouldn't have been a sequel or like the 3rd one.
Oh yeah, I don't think.
And from what I understand, they actually gave another character in here like
his props,
his guns. Yeah,
I
props,
heard
like,
that's what I was talking about.
So like, man, all right, let's see.
Isn't Keanu Reeves playing the?
Yeah,
right. Like, so this, I'm so excited for this.
Who's bench?
Yeah, I'm so excited for it.
Oh, he's Sonic. Oh, that's right.
On that note, we did watch the first official trailer. We'll link it as well if you guys want to watch that one. But this is the second one. I hope they don't give away a lot of it. So here we go.
Let's go.
Trailer 2s usually are pretty.
I don't really care about Lilo Stitch or Patrick.
Unless it's a repeat of the first trailer.
I hope it's a repeat.
All right.
Then goes new stuff.
Here we go. Showtime.
What
the child garden.
Are you Detective Pikachu?
He does look like a Pokemon. Pika Pika.
Pika Pika.
Konnichiwa.
You love that place full of children?
It's time, Shadow. Finally, we will have our revenge.
Oh my God, it even looks good.
If you can't conspire with family.
There's 2 Eggman now?
Double your villains, double your fun.
Hey! Last words.
Nice magic marble, real scary. That actually is real scary. Oh my God. Trick shot. Tom, Maddie, we need your help on a super... Knuckles, do you mind?
Oh, excuse me.
Tom, Maddie, we need your help on a super dangerous top secret mission.
We're in.
And the donut sweatshirt.
We were born ready.
Oh yeah.
All right, boys, try and keep up.
Come on, Granddaddy-O. We've got dirt to do. With Shadow's power.
Is he playing both characters?
When we're done,
He's playing
there won't be anything
Shadow
left to rule. That is dark.
Somebody better call Google Maps.
Life's all about the choices we make. Remember to listen to your heart. You're gonna make the right choice when it matters the most.
One hedgehog to another. Who does your highlights?
Also, the gun he has looks like an electric gun. It does not look like an actual pistol like he had in the games.
You're gonna make the right choice.
Like Sonic the Hedgehog, Shadow the Hedgehog game. And he doesn't have the pump action MP5 either. Not 100% lore accurate.
One hedgehog to another. Who does your highlights?
The more you talk, the harder I want to hit you.
This ends now.
Our destiny awaits. You were right about one thing. This ends now.
Hey!
He Santa too. He's Christmas.
Oh my God. I need to stop.
Wait, what? Oh,
Here's an absolute treasure.
Oh,
He is, bro.
I'm surprised we haven't seen Amy yet.
Right?
No Amy.
In there.
Well, there's no Amy, no Silver, no Blaze, no fucking Sally. Got the bunny rabbit's name. No cream, no vanilla, no cheese, no Rouge the Bat, no Decal, no Big the Cat, no SPO, no Vector, no Primary B. Alright, so you're missing.
They could make several.
I wonder if they'll, like we still got Big the Cat and that like
yeah,
robot
they could
from
make
the,
Omega.
They can continue going. Yeah, the world is huge.
We saw the chows. I wonder if that's just like just an Easter egg, or if that's gonna be like part of the story at all. Because like they were
looks like
connected to Knuckles Island in the game, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was like
which we might have saw chows in the second movie.
Yeah, probably.
No, there was no chows.
Oh, this is the first trailer. I was wondering, like, this looks a little bit different. They kind of gave, showed quite a bit compared to first one, but it's still the stuff that we kind of know.
Yeah.
gonna happen.
The newest Sonic game that just came out, I heard was like pretty good too, which is a step in the right direction because the last few Sonic games have not been that good.
Yeah.
But I heard, this franchise is picking back up.
Yeah,
they're making the right moves.
So picked up. These movies are so hype, and I cannot wait for Christmas to see this one right now. I'm so excited.
Yeah,
Adding Keanu Reeves into the mix, I'm like, come on, bro. You know this is good.
So when Sonic Adventures came out, that console was ahead of its time because the memory card was also like a mini Game Boy. So those chows, you could like hatch them in the game that you were playing and then save them onto the memory card, and then it was like a little like a Tamagotchi.
That's cute.
Cool.
Did you guys ever have Tamagotchi?
Yes, I did. Oh my god, I love
so
them.
many.
I want one
So
now
many.
again.
They all died.
They're probably so sad.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
Damn you.
Bro, they blew up this Chuck E. Cheese. I know it's not a Chuck E. Cheese, but
Yeah.
It's Chad Garden.
What?
Chow Garden.
Chow Garden.
Chow Garden. I love it. I was like,
It
are you
looks
the
like a D.
Detective Pikachu?
Pika
You
Pika.
look like a Pokemon. Oh, that's so funny.
I'm excited for dual wielding Jim Carrey.
I think eventually all of these, this is a Sega property, but I don't know how much Nintendo has to do with it because like the Mario movie, I feel like there could be some crossover movies too.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. Can they though? Because those two very different properties.
If Nintendo has anything to do with it, I'm sure.
I mean, you had Mario and Sonic Olympic Games. I remember playing that. That's actually pretty good.
Make it work.
No.
Honestly, if it all leads up to
the racing games,
a Super Smash Bros. Movie.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
That'd be
that
so
like
much
that
fun.
would be a tournament
Oh
movie.
my
Mortal
God.
That'd be,
Kombat
I
with
think, too
Super
crazy.
Smash Bros.
This is the universe we want.
Right?
DC and Marvel can sit on the side for now. All right, so that was the official trailer for Sonic the Hedgehog.
Okay. All I wanted to see because I care about the other two. Now, I've only seen two. How to Train Your Dragon. I think I've only seen two movies. Third one. I can't remember. Or have I seen all four? I don't even. They didn't really leave much of an impression on it. Yeah, okay. Alright, let's watch another video. Let's see. There's gotta be something else. One more video. I'm trying to make these like 2 hour long videos. Let's watch some furry memes. Maybe. watching Mob Psycho anime. It's been a while since I watched it. Bleach has been like still going on, still ongoing. Yes. God damn it. Man, you keep on bitching about the woke media. My God, there's no more woke media. It's all owned by Republicans. Let's talk about that furry convention. All right, let's see.
Welcome to Sapphire Lounge by the Club. This is more than a...
Hey, let's have a little discussion here. Let's talk about what's going on with the convention scene of the furry fandom. Obviously, a lot of people probably saw my video. It's kind of ballooned a little bit more than I thought it would on my disdain over reading what happened over in the UK over a furry convention there, where it was reported 60 people destroyed the venue. And there is similarities to other events like this in the past. First off, I gotta say, most of these events don't have anything like this that happens. Usually you go to a convention, you have people that meet up, you have people that have a party, you have people that...
Alright, hold up. BRB, my friend, BRB. Where's this guy? Oh, there he is. Damn Joe. Hey! Hey, thanks Ty for rating me. If you're able to, obviously, follow me here, Twitter, Instagram. If you're able to donate, it's good. All that good stuff. Alright, thanks. Let's see. Damn it, alright. Then I see you around here again. Looks like I need to check the officer down. Oh my god, game 4? Oh god. I'm less than a minute into this stream. I have a go. Damn! No, my horse. My horse dead. Shoot him! Shoot him, Woods! Oh my god, Woods! Fucking retard! Woods has become retarded. God damn.
Oh, Dios mío. No puede ser.
Did that win? Okay. I don't know why they...
Find some cover. Over there!
All right, we're gonna get back
vibe with each other and have an amazing
watching this video.
time. These type of conventions that happen where things roll over and things get destroyed, people just absolutely become unhinged. This is not normal. Not normal for any convention scene anywhere out there. So please, when you read these things, when you see these things, take it with a grain of salt. Know this happened. Know it's unacceptable and should be brought to light, and those that were involved should be brought to justice because there was a lot of damage. Now,
it's sad that this convention got shut down. I mean, if it was in the UK, which sucks because I'm guessing the UK.
I have read that at that event, there was a lot of things that happened that also possibly was the venue having things go wrong and the organizers having things go wrong. So from everything I'm reading at this point, everything I have found on it, I haven't dug too deep on it. Obviously, I have a very large comment section on this video because of everyone telling me how it is. And that's the way YouTube goes. A lot of it I tune out because I have to. If I don't tune it out, things get to a person after a while. And I sit there, I take everything with a grain of salt. Leave your comments. I've removed the most disparaging ones, obviously, because they just don't belong in there and it's not adding to the conversation. You want to add to the conversation, you want to provide more details, you want to say, listen, I was there, I had a lot of fun. Yes, shit went down. It sucks it went down, but that's the way things go sometimes. I have seen things go off the rail before. I have seen what young teenagers and young adults will do with themselves when they put into a situation and they get riled up in a very wild-like atmosphere like the furries are. Yes, there is a very big wild side to a furry. Yes, there is a very big appeal to it. But when you tone it down just a little bit, we're all human. We all are human beings in the long run, and we just happen to like something that everyone else likes.
Oh my god. I got wombo combo, man. I saw you climb the rings. Give you all for last job. I did. Oh man. Fighting Jack. Right. What you guys do? Hello guys, I'm back. Sorry about that, my mic went bad for a second. So let me back and
Likes in this space. Everyone, including myself,
I do apologize for that, man. Sometimes my USB mic wants to be a bitch and not work sometimes.
Sat there and went, you know what? I'm a furry when I was like 13. Like I've spoken to a lot of people. They're like, yeah, I dove into this type of thing at the age of 13. I'm up here in Canada. These types of things don't really exist. I've spoken to other Canadian furries at this point, and they're like, yeah, I'm a furry, but there's like no scene. There's absolutely no scene, and I'm in a situation where
Yeah, I think this just hurts the furry scene, hurts venues, this hurts cons. Whether it be a furry con or anime or anything that like gets a whole bunch of people together. They're all gonna remember this and like, we don't want our stuff, destroyed. We don't want our stuff being ruined. So this has a really huge cascading effects on everyone. Not good. Not good at all.
A city where there is a large furry community. And because of that, it's a very vast, different sense and appeal to these things that you see in the community. I've been able to dive into a lot more. I've been able to reach out and speak to a bunch that are in and around this city, in and around the community, and I know a lot of them are absolutely fantastic people when it comes down to it. When I went to the convention here back in June, I had a blast. The first day I was there, I was like, what am I doing here? You go into these things and you have this absolute awe and shock, and you have no idea why you're there, especially when you walk into something like this alone. I jumped into this alone. I knew nobody.
Yeah, same here when I
Nobody. And
when
I
I
gotta
went
say,
to
if
this.
I walked into a
I knew no
convention
one there.
and saw people destroying the convention center and destroying the venue, I would feel bad. And that is why I put that video. Yeah, I did it for my car in the.
I think furries in the UK, maybe London or maybe the surrounding area, could be sad because it's it's a very cool event that's gone now. But it's also one of those supposed to be a safe space for furries. People. Quite different because once they step outside, there's so many evil, horrible people trying to ruin their lives, especially the religious folks. You got tons of Muslims who see these cons things as evil satanic stuff, and they'll do horrible things.
Real life format Cinder. You know what? I've done this for so long right now. I don't give two craps what people think about me at this point.
Yeah, I want to go to con again and hopefully meet some more people, interact with them. I had a lot of fun last year. Last year was awesome. Hopefully this year we talk and meet with more people and
they are part of my childhood, and I absolutely
enjoy ourselves, make better friends.
Those are things that have actually driven to me here.
Hey, we're hosting a family this year. You seem oddly relaxed.
We're all set. New home.
It's just when you sit there and you go through life, and life happens and blinds you to these things for so bloody long, and not understanding that you could do so much more with yourself. That's where I'm at. So, anyway, enough about me. This is about what happened at that con. That con got derailed. Organizers, the venue, and the people. It sounds like it was a triple threat that all came together, and it was a bad situation that just continued to get.
I think the biggest problem is the people. There might be some problems with like the owner or organizing the con. That does suck. But I think the biggest thing is the people hurting the venue that causes the business people quickly cut you off very fast and very quick.
Worse. It sounds like there was mistakes that happened, and the mistakes couldn't be rectified, and it snowballed out of control. And these things will happen in any situation. Doesn't necessarily mean that it's a furry convention that's going to be there. It could be any other type of convention. There is shitty things that happen. This makes me go back to when I went and saw Five Finger Death Punch, right?
Isn't MFF starting up soon?
We bought VIP.
MF soon. December 5th, yeah. Couple days. Illinois. Rosemont, Illinois. If I can get myself a better job, I'll definitely go to more cons. One I want to go is BLFC. It's like big little fur con. It's in Reno, Nevada. I have a friend who lives in Reno. That's kind of what I want to do. Go to that con, meet them, and like, hopefully I can save up some money and move out. I'm a real adult, move out, and have a real life for myself. That's what I want.
VIP tickets to go to this show because I wanted to meet the band. Now, when they put up the VIP tickets originally, they didn't say it was a meet and greet, but they said if there is a sound check, then they will add in a meet and greet with the show. And we're like, okay, well, most likely there will be a sound check. There will be things. So, comes the day of the event, of the concert, and with the VIP status, you're like, okay, this means we have to be there about an hour early to get our VIP passes, to get our badges, and part of it was to get into the venue a half an hour early and get to the merch table and be able to buy extra merch. Well, this was late in the tour. We walk in there, you're like, okay, yeah, we get into the merch table. We can buy the things we want. Oh, that keychain? Oh, they're sold out. Oh, the shirt you want? Oh, they're sold out. What's going on? Why is there no merch? There was merch, but it was none of the merch that we wanted. The merch that we wanted was sold out previously on other shows. So they showed up, and the stuff that we wanted, we didn't get, and we didn't end up getting. On top of this, we were supposed to get a package of extra merch and all this other stuff, right? You're like, okay, whatever, that's fine. So that's one thing that goes wrong with this VIP experience. Then we walk in there. We walk into the venue, and we're like, okay, there's a sound check, but here's the thing. Our badge doesn't get us into the sound check all of a sudden. They put out about 2 months before the show another level that can let you into the sound check. And we're like, but ours was supposed to cover that. Oh, no, your badge isn't good enough. You're not good enough to be in here. You spent all this extra money and you're not good enough to be in here, right? What do we do? Well, we sit there and we go, okay, well, we're here to see the show. I guess we're not going to meet the band. I guess all this other stuff. We're like, okay, whatever. Get into the venue. We get our drinks. We do all this other stuff. And there's a backstage. And we're like, well, you know what? We got these badges. Let's see if we can get backstage, right? So we go up. Security's like, oh, yeah, go ahead. Go sit backstage. Okay, that sounds great. So we go backstage. And
Sounds real terrible, man. I mean, I haven't been to many music concerts, but if you spend a bunch of money on a VIP pass and there's like pass above VIP that gets you a bunch of extra shit, I think that's really dumb. I think if you're a VIP, you should get like, go into backstage, get extra, exclusive merch, and get to meet the band, stuff like that. Get like an hour, get like an extra hour with them, things like that. That'd be fine.
And we have our drinks, and we meet a couple other people that have the same badges as us, and they're like, okay, yeah, let's sit down, let's talk. And we sit there listening to the opening acts. We sit there, we see Moody from Five Finger Death Punch up in a window, and he's like, yeah, come on up. So we go up, and security's like, no, you didn't pay enough. You can't get up to the venue. And we were like, what the fuck? What the F is going on here? We pay extra for all this stuff, and we haven't gotten a single thing. Yeah, we got backstage. All we did was sit on some of the equipment in the back, behind the curtain. That's all we did. We didn't get to meet the band. We didn't get to do anything. After that, security guard said, no, your badge isn't good enough to get up here. They kicked us out of the area. We're like, are you kidding? Anyway, we watched this concert. We left. We went home. We got the shiny badge, and that was all we got. What did we do with that? We didn't riot. We didn't get upset on the situation. Things went.
Yeah, I'm glad you didn't get like super upset, but I would have let them know, like, hey man, we promised all this cool shit, we didn't get any of this cool. I would have been pissed off about it. All right, else.
Hey everyone, we've got a brand new pistol from Springfield. This is the Echelon 4.0C. This is our compact version of the Echelon. Fantastic pistol, by the way. Let's take a quick look at it. It's got all the same great features that you expect from the sights, the trigger, the grip, everything else. The only difference is that it is a 4-inch barrel. It has a 15-round capacity, and then it still has the
Rounds,
tactical
goddamn.
U-notch and their variable interface system for optics. One of the other things that you might want to know is that it comes in 4 other configurations. It comes in with a 3-dot tritium insert, 3-dot tritium with a threaded barrel, 2 15-round magazines only, and 2 10-round magazines only for the state compliance. The other things that you get in here are interchangeable back straps. You get the pins for the variable interface system, and you also get an 18-round magazine in this thing. Come check it out while we have them available.
Know that? Box Office Mojo. Box office. Moana 2 was going to do really well. Wicked, Idea, Red 1. I think that almost. Jesus Christ. Still needs to make $100 million more to break even, right? It's like $250 million, right? Rock. The Venom, The Last Dance. That was pretty decent, though. You know, $500,000. Well, Robot, and looks like it really slowed down a lot. Anything else we watch? Last movie I saw was a Transformers movie. Ever Inside Out too? I can't believe well, well, the Empire. Wouldn't have expected that at all. We Hungry Panda 4. That was pretty good. It was sad that Furiosa did not do well. Transformers. 90 $150 million for a CGI movie. And last time it was in theaters was back in November. Either could have gotten some Black Friday. As Dead on Arrival. But man, I really want to play a battle. Like a battle actually looks. see what happens here. Final passage.
This is paleta payaso, a delicious treat on a stick, made up of a fluffy licious.
You're watching Drake Wing Gaming. Enjoy the video.
You gotta say Drake Wing Gaming does have very good videos. He has almost 6K. I mean, I think when I followed him, he was like only, it was a couple years ago, maybe 3-4 years now. I found him thanks to a random video. I think it was a psychedelic. I think that's the one I saw. I mean, he does a really good job. And he does a really good job with his Patreon and shit, which I'm really jealous of. My Patreon sucks. I have no one. I have 2 tiers, a $4 tier and an $8 tier. Nothing really.
Hey guys and gals, Never here from Drake Wing Gaming. It's Sunny Mount Twitter, the Gaming Drag. Today I'm coming back at you another Let's Play episode of Arches. So yeah, let's go ahead and jump right back in, shall we? Alarm chain, you were up, and let's go. This third person squeezes his paw reassuringly. Cameron squeezes back, and he's comforted by the feeling that for just this moment, he's sealed off from Brian and the town, and it's just him and his mom walking through these.
I want to double check. I didn't see that. Into the darkness.
You're watching Drake Wing Gaming. Enjoy the video.
Out of this one. Well, God, this is a painful game to play, but I really enjoy it. And so let's go ahead and jump back into this nightmare, shall we? Alrighty. Hope you all had a good Thanksgiving. One second, y'all. Alright. Whoops. Took a bit more out on him than I meant to. Fuck, that hurt. Brian shakes the paw he'd used to hit Cameron, as if bashing Cameron's muzzle made it sting. Devin's rage crescendos once more. Brian, I will fucking kill you! Brian looks surprised for just a second, then he goes on grinning, enjoying the reaction as if he's watching a show. This only makes Devin angrier. I'll knock every tooth out of your fucking head! I'll tear your throat out! I'll... Devin's voice weakens, breaks, and trails off under Brian's apparent glee at the younger bear's fury. Realizing that Cameron's ears are twitching at his shouting, Devin returns his attention to Cameron as Coyote lets out a low, rasping groan. Cameron, honey, can you hear me? You can hear me, right, Cameron? Meanwhile, blood oozes out of the Coyote's nose and mouth, seeping into the fur on Devin's stomach and side. Devin tries to keep his sobbing and gasping.
Brian's such a piece of shit, man. One of the worst people ever. I don't know how this guy fucking survived. I don't know how the cops never caught this guy.
Gasping to a minimum.
Also blame Duke. He didn't do anything. And then Flynn knew. Well, Flynn didn't know about Brian, but he knew about, Duke, Clint, Jeremy, Micah, Heather, all attend this alley crew.
As Cameron's head continues to rest over his diaphragm. Cameron's eyes flutter, then he blinks, and Devin sees the light of consciousness re-enter his eyes. Cam! Devin? Cameron grunts under his breath, lifting his head slightly. Brian already looks bored at the catastrophe he just created, and now he keeps looking over his shoulder into the darkness that stretches behind him, shifting impatiently. Alright, make it quick, yo. We need to get moving. Don't you touch him! You're gonna have broken his fucking neck! Devin's voice cracks and turns hoarse again. Brian bristles, finally reacting, but Devin turns his attention back to Cameron, continuing to try and gently coax him into a state of consciousness. Come on, baby, can you hear me? Can you understand what I'm saying? Slowly, Cameron lifts his head, a mixture of blood and saliva connecting his lip to Devin's fur in a long strand.
I mean, I like bears and everything, but God. Not gonna lie, fucking Brian kind of hurts their bear reputation, right?
I'm okay. I'm fine. Cameron sounds confused as he mumbles, trying to get up unsteadily. No, stay still. No, get up. Didn't I tell you what I'd do to your bear if you don't? Then do it. Come on over here and do it, you fucking coward, you fucking scum. Devin. Cameron's voice is calm, a bit quiet and weak, and the bear goes silent as he focuses back on the Coyote. He has his head lifted, trying to focus on Devin's face. Who's feeling this right now? The question catches the bear by surprise. What? The mines, that's right. I'm going to the mines, and I'm coming back for you. Cameron clasps a paw to his muzzle, wincing hard as he shuts his eyes tight. What? What mines? Stay here! Devin's eyes well up with tears, seeing that the Coyote is barely coherent, barely able to understand what's happening. and Cameron leans in to kiss the bear, again taking Devin by surprise. He immediately smells the and tastes Cameron's blood, making the gorge rise in his throat. It reminds him of his predation nightmares, but Cameron insists, so Devin just concentrates on not heaving.
Oh.
Get 4 weeks free when you sign up for Uber One for students.
Fuck off, Uber.
He doesn't want to feel the gap where Cameron's lower left canine used to be, the unevenness of his already swelling muzzle. As he forces himself to kiss back, he feels something else press against his lips. Something hard and oddly shaped, and Devin opens his muzzle, allowing the blood to flow into his mouth. But with it comes something else, and Devin realizes all at once that it's the key. Devin maneuvers the key into his muzzle, as subtly as he can, hearing Brian sigh impatiently behind Cameron. It slides under his tongue easily, small in his comparatively large muzzle. Cameron whispers into Devin's ear, "We're gonna go back home together, I promise." "Where are you going? Why the mines? Honey, please!" Devin can't keep the whining panic out of his voice, sounding like a cub, but managing to keep the words clear with the tiny key under his tongue. Devin just stares at Cameron as he pulls back, tears rolling down his cheeks as his coyote crawls weakly to his feet and steadies himself against the wall of the van. You're fine." He turns his gaze back to the furious, sobbing bear. "Sit tight, kid. We'll be back in a little while. I promise."
Nah. He's gonna kill him and then back and kill you. Maybe just leave you in the fucking...
Being knocked out, gaining consciousness, stumbling his way through the dark, all while in an untold amount of shrooms, is harrowing. That's the only word Cameron feels is appropriate for this situation. Harrowing. The world is more dreamlike than his dreams. The combination of disorienting factors leaves Cameron fumbling through a series of events immediately after he'd reached the old bear. Brian grabbed his paw, and suddenly they were moving swiftly through the desert before Cameron is pulled into a place that's cold and dark, lit up dimly by an old electric lantern, its handle hanging from the barrel of Brian's shotgun. If Cameron thought his perception of time was fucked on weed, now it's twisted over on itself. He's exhausted, having not eaten a proper meal in well over a day, and his throat is so dry, he thinks he might be willing to drink Brian's drugged water. Each time Brian goes around a bend first, or his bulk obscures it, the lantern's light disappears and leaves Cameron in darkness. Each time that happens, brilliant red arcs crowd his vision.
William. I think this is why he killed all the other people, right?
Who's in darkness? I am. I'm in the darkness. Everything is in darkness. No, just me. Stop fighting it. It'll only make it worse. Cameron is surprised by the bear's sudden appearance. Where am I? Brian sighs heavily again. Doesn't matter. But... Cameron crumples up as something jabs him hard in the sternum, twisting in on itself, feeling a black hole open in his chest. It sucks the rest of his body and attention into it as the canine curls up on the hard dirt floor, whining and grunting. Finally, air returns to his lungs, and as it does, he hears a snorting sound again. After a while, Cameron looks up from his position on the ground to see the Brian on his knees, appearing to smell the stock of his shotgun. And Cameron notices the white powder, and he understands what's happening. Cameron hears a familiar voice, one that he's sure he's hearing and not imagining. Don't snort it. We're trying to coat your nasal cavity, not your fucking lungs. So my friends did it. And your friends are fucking idiots. Brian looks up from his disappearing line of bath salts. Who are you talking to? Cameron quietly tries to hush Dylan, but Brian already heard them. Oh, Dylan, okay. On top of that, Brian doesn't seem angry or upset, but his continued stare demands an answer. His name's Dylan. He's my ex. Sorry, we don't get along well. You getting some third man syndrome? Whenever I get real fucked up on too many drugs for too long, a person always shows up. I end up having a conversation with him and everything. Brian readjusts the way he's holding his lantern and gun and grabs Cameron's arm with the other. I hear it happens to people in survival.
Yeah, we haven't heard much about Dylan. We just know he's terrible. He was like pretty damn terrible to Cameron here. Brian, Devin a lot better than him, but still don't know a whole lot about him.
Situations too. Anyway, I'm always too delirious to remember who the third man is. Yeah, Cameron can't understand how Dylan isn't real, but this nightmare bear apparently is. Is he being tricked? Alright, here's the deal. I'll stop hitting you as long as you're smiling. Got it? Huh? Brian clenches his fist meaningfully. Cameron winces and quickly stretches his mouth into a large smile, even though it hurts to the point that tears well up in his eyes. Oh, sorry, I didn't realize what you were talking about for a second. I remember now. Sure do, pathetic faggot. Brian continues to inspect Cameron as Cody remains quiet, keeping a smile plastered on his face. This experience is too much. All this is too much.
Fine.
He just wants it to stop, and he'll do whatever this
Love
bear,
using that
source
slur.
of his torment wants it. Once it prevents him from being hurt again. Guess I did bust your chops pretty good, huh? Cameron flinches as the bear grabs his badly aching muzzle in one giant paw. Wait, please don't. Ah! Cameron cringes hard but tries his best to hold still. Yep, broke your tooth too. Swelling up a bit, but you're cuter with your face all messed up like that. Too bad it's gonna look real ugly by tomorrow morning. Not that it'll matter. It's just hard to look at you now, with that stupid scar. Brian lets go and grabs his shoulder instead, at the same time glancing at Cameron's shirt. You from Bridgetown, Timber City, or did you just pick that up at Goodwill? I always say, when you're shopping at the Goodwill, never pick up clothes that have anything to do with the place. Fuck, just a few years back, I took a Weston sweatshirt from the Salvation Army and... Cameron follows along silently. Meanwhile, that third presence has shifted into something else. Something a bit more familiar. Brian's getting chatty again for the second dose he took. Anyway, I hear that city's overrun with Antifa and all that. A true liberal hellscape if there ever was one.
Damn. Oh my god. Oh, you're talking fucking Portland, right? Chop shit. Yeah. Oh, it wasn't. No, Seattle. Oh, yeah, it was Seattle. I was in Seattle. It's fine. Better than it was back in 2020. Yeah. Keep them. Liberal hellscape. If it wasn't for these liberal hellscape, like LA, San Francisco, New York, Illinois, Houston, maybe Austin, yeah. You wouldn't have a lot of economic, colonies here in Houston. Here in America, it's like, he does liberal hellscape.
His mother, following behind them, is holding his paw. Looking back, he can't see her clearly, but he knows it's her. It's okay. It's okay. A lot of the time, it's outside groups coming into the city making trouble. Even sounds like her, defending the city they both grew up in despite its problems. Despite its streets becoming a stage for the country's culture wars to physically play out. Even while they suffered on the outskirts of what was supposed to be a liberal bastion lit up by the lights of tolerance and welfare, but instead glowing orange from burning cars and flashbangs. And yet they defended it, because they both believed in its core principles. Now, though, Cameron looks behind himself while also looking back. He's taller than she is, and he's reminded of just how small she was, how small she'd seen to him now if she survived. He would have saved her too, if she could have held on just a little longer. But how much longer? 4? 5 years? Would she have held on that long? No, not with her habit and the amount she was using. And though Cameron doesn't want to admit it, it was her death that spurred him to make the first serious change in his life. His mom wasn't a good mom. All things considered, she shouldn't have ever had children. But how can he judge? She was still a teenager, excited and in love, living out of a '70s Chevy van. But all of that came to an end when he was born in the December of 1995. The next year, his abusive, probably schizophrenic father left and committed suicide sometime in the mid-2000s.
God damn it.
But for a few months in 1995, his parents truly wanted to make a good life for him. And that feeling of love from that moment in time overwhelms Cameron. They wanted him to be happy, successful, and they truly thought he'd be the one to break the family cycle of dropping out and being broke. And even though they wanted that for him, they especially wanted him to be happy, to have a family life and a childhood that both his parents were only able to see other kids enjoy. They tried. But it's the most typical love story for people like them. Because eventually, like in all those other stories, things break and then things settle. He'd done the exact same before Devon. She should have taken more precautions. She left him alone in the trailer often, her medications and recreational drugs freely available for him to experiment with while she was at work. He became an addict just like her, and he had come to understand the baggage that comes with that label. That it's not just about a craving or a desire for something. Everyone has those feelings. No, it's about who you are as a person. A liar, a thief, a cheater. Someone willing to do anything to get whatever it is their addiction demands. Anything to feel good. Whether it's pathetically checking all the coin dispensers.
I clean my nose up. Guys, it's nothing bad. I'm not doing bath salt, cocaine, or anything bad. I may know about that stuff, but alright. I smoke a little weed here and there. Maybe an occasional drink. Nothing really bad. Nothing that will destroy my life. There you go.
In a casino once you've spent your life savings, or pathetically combing through the carpet for whatever drug it is that you're starting to come down from. The only thing that had saved him from that life and death was his mother's insistence he keeps his grades up. Of course, Devon saved him too, but he would have never met the bear without good grades and a decent ACT score. And despite her losing touch with life in his senior year, that habit of academic discipline that she drilled into him stuck. That's what got him a partial scholarship to the University of Pueblo. And that's what got him out of the trailer park surrounding Bridgetown and into the state's flagship university.
Wait, what? Pueblo? Didn't fucking Jenna and fucking Chase go there? But they're like in Echo, which is like, Arizona, New Mexico, Utah area. It looks like he's from up in the Northwest, Pacific. How the hell would you end up going to Pueblo? Would make a whole lot of sense, unless he's like an out-of-towner. Out-of-town scholarship. I bet Devon. I think Devon has a Pueblo public university thing.
A few schools in his own state had better offers, but Pueblo was the most prestigious of the schools he got accepted into. A top 100 school with the best-ranked nursing and engineering programs in the region. That, and at the time, Cameron wanted to be far away from Bridgetown, even if that meant the desert. And then he met Devon. She wasn't a good mom, but she was a great person, a wonderful person, and she did the best she could with what she had at the time.
Okay, interesting.
She brought him into a chaotic, unstable life, a life that she saved multiple times, and while he occasionally wished his mother would have just let him die, now Cameron is only thankful. While most of his life was tough, the past 5 years have been better than he would have ever dared to dream was possible. His life was perfect up until yesterday, when they got here. Tears run down his face, conflicted about how he should feel, but just knowing that he misses her, that he loves her, and that he hopes she's okay wherever she is. Alright, y'all. Gonna pause that right there. Thank y'all so much for watching. Hope y'all had a wonderful, happy Thanksgiving. I love you all, and I shall see y'all in the next video. Bye-bye!
What are the benefits? The exclusive benefits: access to NSFW Visual Hour, permanent member, Discord service, sign up for video game raffles, games, down to the end of every video, custom avatar, pages. Maybe one day soon I'll put you on Patreon. Like I want to support other creators on Patreon, especially for visual novel.
A true liberal hellscape if there ever was.
Liberal hellscape. That's like so Fox News, man. With sense. Passage into the darkness.
These minds. tells him she's proud of him for graduating high school and college, and she's happy he found Devon. Would she really be proud of him if she knew what he studied? If she was still around? If majored in business administration or something? What did you major in? Smile. A gentle voice from behind him, barely audible and carried on the soft breeze that grows weaker and deeper they go into the tunnels. Music theory. What the hell are you supposed to do with that? Teach? The automatic answer, the one he had prepared for all his skeptical friends who were going to STEM-related fields. You a teacher? No, but that was my plan. Some plan. I mean, I didn't go into any debt, so I had a financial freedom after I graduated. You know, you're pretty coherent for someone that's on that many shrooms. Most people would lose their minds. Oh, I am. I definitely am. I don't know. I have more control than I did the first time I tried it. In fact, Cameron feels like he's losing his mind right now, laughing even though it makes every part of his body ache. Xanax is like magic when you're panicking. Anyway, what is it that you do for a living? Did it all pay off? Judging by the tone in Brian's voice, he already knows the answer to that. Customer support for Julian. Sad. Working for a country that we nuked twice. Back in the 80s, we used to beat people up for working for companies like that. Cameron was at a loss for words, but only for a moment.
Jesus Christ, he knows his country. He knows that company is a Japanese company that was nuked twice back in the 1940s. Hopefully he knows that. In the 80s, I guess he had to be.
Oh, okay. Julian. Makes me think of Hooli from Silicon Valley. Julian, the current market leader in smartphone manufacturing, is a Taiwanese, and the coyote assumes that the bear is thinking of a certain other country in the same region. Either way, it's a strange and disturbing aside. But that's just Brian, and sometimes with Brian, it's best for Cameron to just keep his mouth shut and to also keep on smiling. So, why music? You sing? Cameron wishes the bear would stop asking him questions. Making small talk like any of this is a routine part of their lives. But the coyote assumes bath salts will make anyone talkative. Kind of. What do you mean, kinda? Either you sing or you don't. Well, yeah, I mean, I sing, but I'm not very good. I mean, you fucking better be if you spent 4 years learning. How about you sing and I'll decide? It's getting harder to keep up the cheerful charade as Cameron senses the cruel, malicious arousal rising up inside of Brian again.
Oh God,
The second dose is making him do more than just talk too much. Sure, just gotta think of one to sing. Anything you want to hear? I know a lot of 90s grunge and alternative rock. Heh, you're a walking, talking stereotype, aren't you? You write your own music? I definitely tried. A subtle twitch of annoyance ripples through the air. You know, one thing that really pisses me off is when someone's acting like an overly humble little bitch. Either you do or you don't. Either you're good at it or you're not. Either you offer something different or you fucking don't.
God damn. What does Brian come out here with this fucking crazy ass relative life advice? What the fuck is this? God damn you, Brian, with your weird life advice. Starbucks barista. Actually applied at Starbucks and I got the job. I'm glad I didn't. California, Seattle.
Or you fucking don't.
Damn it, Brian, you weird ass.
please fucking kill him? I hate Brian so much. So which the fuck is it? I do. I can. Just give me a second. The corners of Cameron's muzzle turned down slightly, his composure almost crumbling. He's doing the best he can under the current circumstances, but he needs help. Devin, where are you? Brian's attitude shifts from one extreme to the next, making Cameron feel a sort of emotional whiplash, but as long as it keeps him from getting hit, or more importantly killed, then he's fine with that. Tentatively, Cameron starts to sing, choosing the song that got him the most attention. One that was played in moderate rotation at Mountain West colleges, along with a few in the Northwest. A song about his ex, Dylan, about their mutual love and hate for each other, about the abuse they used to hurl at each other, physical and mental, and finally about their breakup. His voice is rough and cracked, and while some of it is because he isn't warmed up, it's mostly due to having his throat crushed. Dehydration and screaming doesn't help either. But aside from jolting each time Brian pulls him a different direction, Cameron finds the melody and rhythm. As he does, he becomes a bit more bold, singing louder until his voice carries through the tunnels. It feels very strange with the swelling muzzle and missing tooth. Brian still says nothing, and Cameron realizes he's listening intently. While this makes the coyote nervous, he knows it's better than Bear being angry, and mainly, he just needs to keep going, keep singing. Devin is in the mines with them, and he needs directions. Cameron just wishes it doesn't feel like he's leading Devin into his own demise. Finding the entrance wasn't hard. While the main entrance had been blocked off with rebar before being filled with and sealed with concrete, he'd known about the side entrance from the supernatural forums he researched before coming here. That and Cameron's blood was sprinkled here and there, and the scent of it spurred Devin on. Of course, it led right to that entrance. He had started unlocking his cuffs the second.
I'm saying that's the side entrance from the smoke room. I should ask him. Are you gonna play? Are you still gonna play the smoke room, even though it's canceled / now going independent? Maybe I should ask him on Twitter.
And he thought Brian might be out of earshot. He had fumbled with the tiny slippery key before freeing his wrists, revealing blood-crusted fur matted down to the broken skin. Now Devin moves through the mines in complete darkness. It's almost suffocating, almost panic-inducing, but the scent of Cameron mixing with the foul odor of Brian pushes the younger bear deeper into the tunnels. The air feels tense, as if the mine itself is intent on seeing what happens next. He's not going to fall into another abyss. When Lupita died, it had been an accident, one that happened after a tornado shredded their town, leveling the block across the street and leaving their house mostly intact. As a 12-year-old, he just didn't think it could happen. They had survived the actual disaster, but just as relief started to set in and his guard started to come down, it happened. He felt powerless in that situation. He knew that her death had happened because of him. But this time is different. He couldn't fight what took Lupita, but he can fight what's taken Cameron. Damn it. After about 10 minutes, though, Devin starts to become more agitated, unable to hear them any longer and going by scent alone. Devin can tell that he's lost the trail. Shit. He hisses through his teeth, trying to keep quiet in case Brian is somehow nearby, lying in wait. Then somehow he hears Cameron's singing voice. Devin goes completely still. He'd recognize his boyfriend's voice anywhere, of course, but Cameron's style is different, having the quality of a singer from the 50s retaining a grunge-like roughness. The coyote was heavily influenced by the black and white musicals his mother used to watch late at night. He was embarrassed about it after being critiqued in one of his vocal performance classes, and he had been trying to change his technique when Devin first met him. But Devin always liked Cameron's voice, and it was due to Devin's urging that Cameron leaned into his style. He knows the song, too, the one about Cameron's ex, the one that he doesn't like to hear because it's violent and vicious. He never asked Cameron about it because he assumed the coyote would bring it up on his own time. Now he needs to make sure he even has that chance. Devin begins moving as fast as he can while staying quiet.
Can't remember the other one. Amy or something. Do that should get me to him again. Cameo. I don't know much about this one because I never read it down. Let's finish this up.
He knocks his nose into a few walls and scrapes up his elbows and shoulders, but he keeps moving, simply trying to force his way in the direction of the voice. Then, just as he thinks he's a few turns away, it stops, and Cameron screams and Devin drops all attempts at stealth. Cam! Brian! He calls out to let Brian know he's there, at least distract him from the coyote. Then he barrels his way through the darkness, trying to find what he sure is the last turn. Why Brian has brought Cameron here, he doesn't know. He doesn't even know what he's going to do when he meets them. Well, anything. He'll do anything. Maybe be stealthy? You might need to be stealthy. Brian is looking a bit more distracted, starting to scan the tunnel wall before his eyes settle on what looks like a large crack from the ceiling to the ground. Cameron turns up his singing a notch, knowing that this is their destination, the end of the road. The old bear glances at him, looking annoyed. This, for whatever reason, is what brings Brian out of his stimulant-induced hyperfocus. Brian finally realizes what's happening. It's only now that the old bear remembers Cameron's plan to take the key. Even Cameron forgot. But now a huge paw flies to his pocket, digging inside and realizing it's too late before he whirls on Cameron. Oh, you little faggot! Cameron turns and runs, trying to take advantage of Brian letting him go for those couple of seconds. Something pounds into Cameron's lower back, just to the right, and it feels like a cannonball being smashed through his body. Cameron is launched forward against the tunnel wall directly in front of him, and he tries to hold on to it, sliding down slightly as he stares straight up into the darkness. It's so dark that Cameron can't tell if the ceiling is a few feet above him, or if it's simply endless space full of glowing arches that stretch on forever. Because it's important to ask, why is he seeing these arches? Is he seeing an underlying pattern in the universe itself?
No, his mom saw it. That's why.
It's so dark that Cameron can't tell if the ceiling is a few feet above him, or if it's simply endless space full of glowing arches that stretch on forever. His eyes stay wide, his breath leaking out of his muzzle in a slow, high-pitched rasp, not wanting to believe the pain he feels spreading through his insides is real. And he's on the ground, writhing and groaning uncontrollably while electric pain spiderwebs through his body. The blows Brian had delivered before are nothing compared to this. Cameron thrashes around in the dirt, desperate to find a way out of the hell. He's in hell. Who's in hell? He has to be. What are these red arches, and why are the flames spreading from his guts up into his lungs? Damn, you probably only pissed blood after that one. Brian's mock concerned voice snaps Cameron back to the situation he's in. In the very back of his head, he realizes his trip is beginning its descent. The pain is still present, though, and it's not letting up. How can he feel pain if he's nothing? He's finally breathing again, but each exhale is accompanied by a whining wheeze. Involuntary tears rolling down his face. Brian leans over him and the coyote cringes. No, stop, please! Brian pauses, then just grabs Cameron by the arm and yanks him up. Cameron lets out a hoarse, breathless scream as his aching body is forced to move again. It echoes around them before cutting off as a huge arm tightens around Cameron's throat. Cam! Brian! Devin's voice is very close by, maybe only a tunnel or two away. Brian mumbles quietly next to Cameron's ear. Shut the fuck up right now or I'll obliterate your other kidney, got it? Cameron feels the threat hovering over the left side of his back this time, and he quickly shuts his muzzle, even though groans still force their way up, muffled behind his lips. Seems to at least satisfy Brian, and he drops the chokehold before shoving Cameron forward. At first, Cameron is surprised that the bear didn't just hit him again anyway, but Brian's distracted again. Devin's too close, and a few terrible plans go through the older bear's head that causes Cameron's already aching abdomen to lurch with nausea and fear. Brian considers waiting and ambushing Dev, but he quickly discards the idea as he realizes Cam might try to warn Devin by making noise right as he reaches them. That's exactly what Cameron would do, even if it means being beaten to death by Brian. Deciding again that nothing matters anymore, he pushes Cameron forward through the narrow opening, the passage becoming more tight until Brian has to turn sideways and struggle through, and then it opens up.
Oh, fun.
Cameron smells death. He instinctively backs up right into Brian. No, 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 please don't do this! I can't. Can't finish his sentence. Brian's victims felt pain that still seems unimaginable to the coyote. Knowing Devin is close behind them, Cameron makes one last effort to turn and dodge around Brian, but the bear is far too large and he easily grabs up the coyote and throws him further into the hollow. Cameron comes up immediately, trying to suppress his whines and whimpers. Brian, just wait a second, think about it. I can help you. Why did you bring me here in the first place? Brian gives Cameron a dispassionate look, but he does pause, and that gives Cameron some hope. And some time. Let me talk to them. Let me see if I can reason with them. We both know that all of this is over. Cameron senses a slight shift in Brian's intentions as the bear begins to seriously consider Cameron's reasoning. I know you need my help. I can feel them. They want you, Brian, and they're waiting for you. I know what it can be like, walking in circles for most of your life, making the same stupid mistakes and knowing what you need to do to get better, and just never doing it. Oh yeah? But I finally did. My life was almost perfect. Until I met you. So let's do it. Let's end this nightmare right now. Brian takes a deep breath and holds it. The entire mind, the entire town seems to hold its breath with him, and Cameron starts to understand how deeply entwined this bear is with this place, this entity that seems to be pulling all the strings.
This is like the thing all the way back from Echo, Echo, Archers, and obviously Smoke Room. Oh man, this is where the Smoke Room starts. This is also where at least one of the endings. Well, like one of Leo's endings here, and I think also Flynn's endings here as well, right? I don't think there's any endings.
Alright, y'all, I'm actually going to pause it right there. Thank y'all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell, and check out our Patreon if you can. It always helps. Anyway, I love you all, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye-bye!
Let's see, anything else left? Oh, maybe. How about the Springfield Echelon? T? Good. Who wins and loses in Yeah, want to react. Uh, let's.
I don't think I need to bother doing an intro for this video. This is apparently how we're starting today. Oh my goodness, I cannot believe this unfortunate person's parent would think they're so immature to do something like that. Like, it's just unbelievable. Is the E621 logo actually a cat? I didn't know that. I've been on E621 so much and I didn't know that somehow. Shoes for my only furs? What? I've changed my mind. I don't do cuddles. That's the concern. Of course, that's the concern. I was complaining about immaturity in the previous post, or the last post I went over. Is that the last post I went over? I've already forgotten. This right here is why I can't have a tail in real life. Me proofreading a professional email for the 10th time to make sure I didn't call the client's mother a slur and that the attached file is in a PNG of my persona getting plowed. I relate to the image part of this a little bit when texting. So I've started sending my mom furry porn. I'm just gonna leave it at that for a little bit for now before I continue. There's like a bunch of furry comics I like and stuff, and recently I've decided a funny thing to do would be to like screenshot some of the comic panels and like just zoom in on like one of the characters' faces if like they have like an annoyed face or something like that, and I've started sending those as like responses to whenever my mom texts me something really annoying. So yeah, I've started sending her cropped furry porn, and so I have to be very careful about sending these to make sure I cropped it properly. You know, unfortunately this one does feel pretty relatable. This is how I feel watching some of current furry YouTube, like a lot of the VR chat furry YouTubers. I think I've complained about them before. Not that I think they're actually genuinely bad YouTubers or anything. A lot of them are just way too, like, loud and annoying for me. It's like, how can you be over the age of 12 and have that much fucking energy? Holy shit. You know, I have not been following the furry husbando of each year thing. Deathwolf was like the first character I saw that I was like, oh yeah, furries are probably going to love this for some reason.
Oh, how can you not? It's well known. You got Nick Wilde was a fox. You also put Judy Hobbs. Greg, okay, whatever. Ida's great. Legacy, great. And Oakme, great. Big Bad Wolf, Clyde, great. Death the Wolf, Von Lycan, Big Ben, yeah.
Reason, like I never thought.
Also thought like Meow Skulls, Polar Patrol, Deer, Trash Panda, Cerberus,
thought about it before. Puss in Boots: The Last Wish and Zootopia are the only two things on this list I've actually like watched / played, because some of these are shows, some of these are movies, some of these are games. I never watched Bad Guys, I don't play Elden Ring, I don't care for that kind of game, I don't watch anime at all. No, it's not November anymore, but sure. You never kissed a dog boy. I've never kissed any boy. Not on purpose anyways. Part 1 of 3 accepting Zootopia 2 will likely be bad. At this point I just assume pretty much all movies coming out right now will probably be bad. I've stopped having any kind of expectations for movies anymore. Welcome to the soup shop. What can I get for you today? I'm looking for some clothes. Well, Lego boy kisser. Damn, she says she's from trans. I think that's Europe or something. Also, I hate that I scrolled down, saw a yellow rabbit, and immediately was like, oh my god, it's Central! This goat has returned. It's been a couple videos since their last appearance. It seems we've reached the bottom of Furry IRL again. Oh, this is only a 35-minute recording. This might suck.
Get shot ban on you.
Alright, more Furry IRL, let's go. And before we actually jump into the posts and stuff like that, I would like to just apologize that there will likely be a pretty significant decrease in the amount of videos I post. For a little bit, I had been trying to do 2 a week, and then that didn't work out, purely just because it's become a lot harder for me to record these things, or just videos in general. Doesn't even matter what it is, because inevitably I'm going to say something that someone within the obnoxious box I live in is going to try and judge me for it mid-recording, and it's just really annoying. So, trying to find times where I can record without that worry has been unfortunately difficult. Anyways, let's just get to it. Oh dear. I clicked on an image, it went back out of it, and it sent me to the top. I hope it doesn't do that every time now. No, this one is actually kind of true, though. It is something I've never thought about, because I don't think about furry things. I don't think about furry things normally when just sitting around, despite me being a furry. This is definitely a very good question. I feel like it would stay the same, because again, most of this just comes down to did they shower or not, so I feel like it would smell pretty much the same. Alright, I'm gonna click on this one just to test, because I want to see if it sends me back to the top again. This also could end up somehow being something interesting, we'll see. I lied, it's this baby meme I don't understand. Oh, that's pretty funny. I'm also now noticing it is taking me quite a while to realize they've been fucking. Alright, well, take me back to the top. No! Oh, store is getting destroyed on Facebook for our bunny. Probably because it's not a bunny. Or maybe it is a bunny. Maybe it's some weird bunny hybrid thing and it's only like 2% bunny. I mean, in that case, it still counts. I have a feeling that absolutely does not mean puppy. There's no way that means puppy. We need to research this. Puto recipe. Puto bum bong. Putin? Oh. Okay. Oh no, I didn't even realize until this image. Like, I'm actually pretty excited about the new wolf types. That's pretty cool that they're finally doing that. But yeah, furry artists are gonna have a lot of fun with that, unfortunately.
Yeah. We've been seeing a lot of furry art of the on Twitter.
Fortunately. Now that I think about it, I don't actually think I genuinely don't think I've actually seen a Minecraft dog on E621. Though it could also just very well be because of the tags I use. I don't know. I guess there just aren't very many Minecraft dogs under the 4 tag. Is that an actual thing? I feel like more hotels need this. More hotels definitely need this. Not necessarily just for furries, just in general. Because we all know it happens all the time in hotels, not just during furry conventions. Inevitably, one of these NSFW ones will give me thumbnail material, which is the only reason I continue to click on them, and unfortunately this is not the one. Where's all the big hot chunky men, man? I need them for my thumbnails. Big paws or big tail? Both. Like with big paws and a big tail, you can be getting hugged with the big paw. Yeah, with the big paw, you can get. Oh fuck. I messed up. We're gonna be sent back to the top. No! Yeah, you can get hugged with the big paws, and then the big tail could be wrapped around the both of you. So like, it's just having both is just perfect. Perfection. I can't speak. Like it's becoming like it's increasingly becoming a problem. Like more and more of a problem every day. Oh, now I'm being told to choose a boyfriend. How can I fucking do that? Actually, you know what? Just fuck choosing. I'll just have all six. Oh my gosh. I mean, it worked out for this person. Whoa, this person gets it. I feel like most people obsess over like the chest area. This right here is what I want. I'm not gay, but $20 is $20. Well, I am gay, and I'll do that shit for free. With tips, of course. Which is still free. Is this an asexual joke? Oh, here we go. I mean, I'm gonna have to block out some of that text, I feel, but we've got our thumbnail. Is that actually real? I mean, if it is real, I fully understand why they haven't made a movie with that.
Let's see, apparently there's a Marvel character who turns into a big buff and calls herself Good Boy. Her full form as I was like, did not know that.
And honestly, a movie with that would be done poorly, or just absolutely horribly with Marvel's current state anyways, so I hope they don't make a movie about this until they fix their shit. I wish werewolves were real. Or maybe they are. I don't know. There was a furry ASMR video that had a whole conversation about where to find them, so maybe they are real and I'm just living in the wrong spot. Who knows? I don't. This is the exact kind of shit I would end up pulling. Because as I was saying earlier, despite some of the stuff I've said throughout this video so far, I definitely am not a very horny person. And that kind of stuff just in general isn't super appealing to me. I mean, I obviously would do it given the chance. But this is the exact kind of stuff I would pull purely just because I'm not super big on that. For a while, I was starting to think I was maybe like that gray asexual thing where like the sexual wants are very low, and I still think that could be the case, but when they do come along, they come along. Is that too much information? Maybe it's just straight up too much information and I just shouldn't ever say anything like that again. I don't know, we'll see. That, for me personally, anything taller than like stopped eating pretty much for like 2 years, and within the last like year and a half I've gone skinny. I mean, for me. And maybe even that's too high. How high is 10 to 15 feet? You know, I do this kind of shit all the time, and I'm still beyond skinny. I mean, I absolutely had a phase where I just like completely stopped eating pretty much for like 2 years, and within the last like year and a half I've been trying to eat more, and I do this exact kind of thing, and still somehow I'm under 100 pounds. How? I've been hovering right around 100 pounds since I was like 14, and I am 19 now. Why has every
100 pounds, my God, you're so skinny and very underweight. You need to get some, maybe not more fat, but you definitely need to make sure you get some muscles. Boyo.
Everything about me just peaked at 14. I haven't changed since 14 at all. Download Oprah. We are getting desperate. The sticker collector, the dog brain, the vocal stimmer, the filthy furry, the stinky, the EP. I don't know which one I'd be, honestly. Probably the EP, but I also am not very tired at the moment, so I don't know. But I also just had an energy drink like 15 minutes before I started recording this, so that may or may not be the reason why I'm not very EP at the moment. Why do I keep saying EP? Just say sleepy, please. Hey Evan, why did you cry on the way home after the party? Probably because you guys live in the state of Oregon. We were playing Truth or Dare and the guy dared me to go home. Why are you crying about that though? Like, you completed the dare. Just go back then. You've completed the dare. You successfully got all the way home, so then you could go back to the party to then continue the game. There's nothing to cry about. As much as I like bunny characters like this, there was a post I saw on E621 by an artist called Jumpy Jackal, where they were responding to, I guess it was a tweet someone made. I'm actually gonna bring it up because I have the tab for their E621 profile saved. Hopefully no one walks in while this is up on my phone. Yeah, I assume it was a tweet, I don't know. But someone tweeted or posted saying, woke up today passionately angry that the furry fandom typecasts the rabbit species as skinny twinks instead of fat men with why can't I say soft? Dear lord, soft, luscious asses. And I kind of agree, though. Like, I partially do agree. I think having the two extremes and then maybe a little bit in the middle as well would be cool, because I do like every time I see a rabbit character, it's almost always this kind of character, with the occasional buff one or the occasional chubby one. But for the most part, it's just that. I could talk about my bunny character, but I also don't want to dwell on this one post too long. Oh, I've seen this already. I tried to use it as a thumbnail and then I way overglowed it. But I definitely do not recommend plugging anything into a protogen's butt. Unless I'm the protogen. Maybe then it would be okay. I wish I had a barber like that. Man, going to get a haircut would be so much more entertaining. I mean, the barber I currently have is great and all, but I don't know. Dude, at first I thought he took the dragon, which, like, relatable, but no, they're just taking thing. I don't know why I thought they took the dragon at first. Oh, this is the same joke from before, but with a macro furry instead of the baby. I really don't think the cat wants to observe this. What the fuck? That's just weird though. Like, in this situation, if the person I'm with says this, that's where it just ends. Like, they're never allowed back in my house ever again. that's really fucking weird. Who is this YouTuber? Ferret Husky? I want to go check out this video when this is done. When I'm done with this. That looks like a very, very interesting video. If I'm gonna be fully honest, I'm only watching it for the fire. Oh, this is the same person who did the, getting a massage from their fursuit crush video. Okay. Looks like I'm gonna be losing my hand. That is, very difficult to resist. Yeah, it's fine. I don't use my left hand for anything anyways. I'll just use my left hand. Insert the, moist critical celebration clip here. Holy shit.
That was actually kind of funny. Alright. I think I am finally done. End the stream. I am finally done. End the stream. Hopefully. Well, hopefully one day soon, maybe probably not this week, but maybe next week, get back into the streaming and probably do proper streams where do some fucking get back into Yakuza, Dragon Age. Hopefully, I can get Fallout working again. I want to do some of this Fallout DLC because I know people like Fallout. It's fun. It's interesting. I just hope others can watch it as well and enjoy it and try and finish up Nier as well. Thank you guys so much and goodbye.
Ivan is an